do it. All right, lovelies. See you next time. Ta! What were our moms making for brunch before it got all fancied up? That's the question I've had all week, because I'm like, okay, so before the brunch got its reputation of bougie, fancy, nice, aesthetically pleasing, hello? What were we making for lunch? The point of this video is to share with you as a homemaker, as a mom, that wherever you are on the scale of skill, that's where you need to start. You don't need to be a chef. You don't need to be a food stylist like me. You just need to be what you are today and now. And that's your starting point. Okay? So now that we've established that, let's walk backwards. Okay. Our mothers weren't hosting brunch. They were feeding people repeatedly, sustainably, no performance, and the food was good. Think late breakfast, early lunch, built around what was already in the house. Not styled, just done properly. So like I'm sure if you grew up in a family or in a home where mom cooked quite a lot, you'll know that protein is like a must. Protein is a major. So, and when we talk about brunch, what's the main protein? The one that has all the character energy? Eggs. So eggs is always central, and then we walk backwards. Say bread, one pot mains, or sausages in a pan. Anything that just made the food nice, enough, and, filling. That was the mantra. Then finally, something sweet. Now, the sweet for our moms were not a sugar rush. It was just an accent. So say stuff like buns where I'm from, or say chin chin for fussy kids who will refuse to eat anything. Or if you're fancy, maybe a tea cake. So this was majorly what brunch was for our moms. Then people who ate more starches would have yams, egg sauce, and say freshly squeezed orange juice if you were from a home like mine where my mom was a nurse and she was very particular. Another major thing that was the characteristics of this old school nostalgic brunch style that our mamas made. Food was made to be shared. Nobody made 10 side dishes. Nobody was plating like elevated grazes. It was just majorly food on the table everyone can share. And everything didn't have to be hot. Leftovers were very intentional, because trust me, you are eating the leftovers somehow. Either for lunch the next day or repurposed into your breakfast. Somehow that leftover is never getting in the bin. So now let's remember or remind ourselves what actually worked and then just refine it, shall we? So point 1. Brunch didn't used to be a performance. It was mainly nourishment. It's so important that you take a step back from first of trying to look all that to focusing more on, let me decide what I am able to make today. Let me make it beautiful. Let me make it look special with what I already have that my family will eat or can eat. Or if you're having your friends or your girls over, that my girls can eat or will eat. And then when you're able to build the muscle, to put the food together, to, gather them, let them have a good, nice time, then you can then start to think about how to make it better. Yeah? So think, maybe brunch doesn't need more ideas. It just needs fewer ideas done well. So if you're tired and you need to host people, trust me, you don't need a performance. You just need to cook food that tastes nice, that looks nice, based on what you already can do. That means your skill set. So you don't need to be a chef, you don't need to be a stylist, you don't need to be anything grand but yourself. So I'm Nigerian, and in a Nigerian home, depending on how is it fancy your parents or well off your parents are on Sunday brunch or a weekend brunch, we would have eggs as a central point. So let's say we were making eggs, scrambled eggs. So scrambled eggs is so different now. I mean, everyone's making this nice rosette eggs now, and even though I mean everyone wants to have the nice fancy eggs, all that matters is that you make the eggs and that it goes round. That is, everyone at the table has more than enough eggs. So the trick was eggs in a bowl, peppers, so like they make a chutney base like this, and then just get peppers, fresh tomatoes, some onions, chop it down or roughly chop or blend it however you like, and then you fry it off in oil, and then you crack some eggs. Now we always try to make sure the eggs is enough for the amount of people. Most times back then it was that this is all the eggs we have and we're having all these people over and we need to feed them and the eggs have to go round. Therefore, we make loads of chutney and then we use what we have in terms of eggs. So then there's a lot of eggs and it's together with the chutney, and then we boil some yam or we boil some plantains. And in some cases, my mom always found a way to squeeze in all the fiber she could give us. So she would make like a kale sauce, what we'll call like a farro, but not really a farro, but some sort of veggie. She would turn it into half of the chutney for the eggs and the other half for the veggies or for the kale sauce. And there will be potatoes, there will be plantains, and then because my grandma was Sierra Leonean, we always had pancakes. And this is not nice American fluffy pancakes. This was just pancake, which meant flour, eggs, sugar as usual, and we would just fry them off. They were like crepes. So they were thicker than crepes, but they were not as thick as the American pancakes. But then they were pancakes and they were not fancy, but they tasted so good. It was so nostalgic that we kept on having the pancakes for whenever we're having brunch. Every single time, even when my grandma passed, it was one of the things that my mom says, oh, I'm making pancakes for the whole neighborhood to just remind them or remind myself of my mom, and we need to make these pancakes, and so we made it. Now onto breads and starches. I already mentioned yam previously. Now, you see, in Nigerian homes, everybody knew agege bread. So agege bread was a thing. There was no going back on it. However, my mom was a nurse, so she's measuring the bread. We are eating slices and it's two. My brother used to cry about the quantity he had. However, that really helped me and all of us to we knew our averages. We knew how much food we could eat, and we could definitely not eating too much food. And somehow we just had that gauge. So it's more of the eggs, the sauce, the every other thing, and then just you're having two slices. There's no English you can speak to escape the two slices of bread. And so it was just majorly, let's say, two slices of bread, eggs on the plate, plantain on the side, some veg, grandma's favorite signature pancakes, and if you're having a happy, jolly, lovely day, some corned beef sauce. Who knows corned beef? If you know corned beef, come forward. So that's not that boring corned beef as you may know it. It's still the same base, which is the pepper chutney. And then we cook or add so we'll stir fry the corned beef in a little bit of oil, and then we'll add it into that pepper chutney and then serve it as a side. It's perfect with eggs and also with plantain as well. But my mom, a nurse, started reading the ingredients and started saying, maybe we're not eating this corned beef thing anymore. We're not. So very quickly it became a very rare occurrence, and we're moving towards sardines, which we hated because of the smell. But then at the end of the day, now, as you all know, sardines are famous again. Talking about drinks, if you're Nigerian, you already know there was no matcha, there was no lavender foam, nothing like that. Tea, Milo, my grandma's favorite, Ovaltine, coffee, water, or freshly squeezed orange juice if you fancy, or a nurse like my mom. But ultimately, that's beverage for you sorted. No mocktails, nothing fancy. But what matters the most is that some people knew the thickness of their tea has to be a certain degree, while some people's tea, ground tea, were like clouded rivers. I'm not naming names here. I'm just saying, right? So it's so important to understand that all these things I've mentioned, from the protein, which is the eggs, to the breads and the starches, and then the beverage, that's brunch, lovelies. That's brunch. That's where you start. And then when you now, make the effort, as you're already, in 2026, when you now make the effort to make it lovely, to make it beautiful, you elevated it, you refined it, and then you begin to watch all that I'm showing you on this page, and then you can continue to improve your skill, learn it, improve it, get better, and you'll see that you will genuinely be better at this brunching thing. Okay? So fancy or no fancy, you can be good at this if you want to be. You can host brunch at home if you want to do it. Now, why am I saying all this? It's so important for you to know that making brunch or having people over, say, for brunch, is something that our moms have done for so many years, and they had no experience. Not chefs, in quotes, like pros. They were not food stylists. They were not thinking about tablescape. I'm not saying they didn't make tablescapes, but I'm saying they were not thinking about how to make sure that the napkins and the cups matched, or that to make sure that the spoon or the fork is vintage. All those things, they matter. However, the memories from those times still live with me, and I'm sure it does with you too. So if you're liking this video so far, and you can 100% resonate with everything I'm saying to you, make sure you give this video a like. I need some encouragement to keep doing these videos and showing up for you every single Saturday. Okay, you need the ginger to start. What that means in Nigerian terms is that you need the motivation to start. You need to say, you know what? I can host, I can do this. So for me personally, I procrastinated on starting my brunch club because I still haven't decorated my house, because I have exactly how I want it done in my head, but I'm not yet up to it financially. And this was my exact excuse as to why I can't have people over or why I can't host brunch. But guess what? I eventually decided that I will do it with the people that love me, that accept me for me, and will want to come back each time I invite them over. Not for aesthetics, not for how my house looks, not for gauging me on how good, how bad, how aesthetically pleasing, or how rich I look, but how much warmth I bring to the table. And so I started it, and look at that. Even though the table is the same all through the year, even though the space is the same all through the year, the beauty that we brought for every single month that we hosted brunch is so unmatched. So many people have reached out to me about the brunch club. Now it's becoming like a thing that people want to be a part of. But then I started it from my living room, undecorated. So this is your goal. This is your green light to say you can do this, whatever you have, wherever you are. If you stick around, you subscribe, I'm going to be showing you how to make so many things that I make. I'm going to show you how I make it. We're going to have enough time to learn and understand, and you're free to 100% copy whatever you see me do. It will be my pleasure that you do it and tag me in your video or send me a picture. I would absolutely love to see it. Remember, ladies, you start from where you are. It's more important that you bring warmth to the table. You drag or bring close to you the people that love you and the people that you love, and then cook for them. So I'm going to see you next week, same time, 11 a.m. Saturday mornings. Make sure you give your girl a like. Share this with your friends if you can relate with every single thing I said in this video. And make sure you remember, you can do this. You don't need to be more than you are today and now to start. If you want to have people over, if you want to host brunch at home, you can.